Okay, let's continue on. We are connecting the PC to our IP phone, and then we're going to connect from the IP phone, or the other port, to our Ethernet switch. So again, I'll connect get a straight through cable there, go from the switch here, and then to the next available port on the switch there. Now, if you notice here, we do have red, and which indicates that basically we don't have the IP phone turned on. So we'll have to give the IP phone power, and then the phones will determine they will connect up. Now, we have here, but before we do that, let's go ahead and connect our routers. And with the router, I'm going to connect again to the fast Ethernet port of this particular router to the available Ethernet port on the switch. And then between the two routers, though, I'm going to connect using the serial connection. And remember, I need both a serial DCE and a serial DTE. So going from right to left, I'll connect on the S030 port there, serial port, and connect to the S030, that router. So now we have both a serial connectivity, so this could simulate my WAN, and then we have an Ethernet. So the other thing I like to do when I'm using Packet Tracer is enable all the ports to display. So I go to Options, I click on Preferences, and then I click on Show Port Labels. And you can see here now, you can see my port labels here. Here's FA02 on the switch. We have FA01 connected to the PC, FA03 connected to the IP phone, and we have the serial connections on my router. The next thing we'll do, what I'd like to do, we see here we have our network. I have a 192.168.1.0/24. So that's one private IP addressing scheme. Let me just put another one here. I'll just put 10.0.0.0/8. And then if we were to have a third subnet, and for example, I could go back here and add another generic PC device, and I could connect that directly to the Ethernet port on the router, even without a switch. However, I'm going to need a crossover cable for that, and I could just connect in the fast Ethernet and then connect to the fast Ethernet there. So we can connect directly. And the final thing I'd like to demonstrate in terms of the connectivity would be a crossover cable. So we have a console cable. So I could highlight the console cable and the RS232 port, and we could go to the console cable there, and so we have a console cable where I could configure that router directly. And let me just add another final network here. I'll call this LAN segment the 172.16.0.0 with a /16 bit mask. The final thing I'd like to demonstrate, this is our logical topology. I could click on the physical view if I wanted to see what this would look like in a wiring closet. So here's the routers and the switches and so forth. So remember, there's that logical view, which I think is always good. In the next part, we're going to actually look at configuring the routers and switches, the tabs.